reduce government expenditure. 72% of Democrats say, heck yeah. No surprise, 94% of the GOP said that as well. So again, think about that, guys. When you see that, Dan, and how are we supposed to reduce government expenditures, which 72% of the Democrats in this poll say, yep, we want done, without creating chaos, without having issues when you're bucking the norm?
Look, that's the $1 million question. And I think this is where Democrats have made a mistake, because every time Musk says anything, we scream about him, we scream about the process, and we scream about every single cut. When there is something legitimate, then people don't hear us, right? Because we're constantly complaining. And I think what that survey shows is every household has to make cuts at varying points, in the arc of its lifetime. Every business has to make cuts. So Americans understand this. So for the Democratic Party to always say, just raise taxes is crazy. And it's one of the reasons we find ourselves where we are in the minority.
Yeah. Robert, President Trump posted on Truth Social that he wants Elon to be more aggressive. So my question to you is there a world where Elon could maybe go too far with this?
Lifetime. Every business,
not with the massive debt problem that we have, and as we all know, in talking about this issue, the government is running a $2 trillion deficit, and there is a lot of work just to be done. This is not a revenue problem, as Dan was just talking about. This is a spending problem. And so I think that there is a lot that Elon can do. There are 2.4 million federal employees. There are a lot of government programs that just haven't delivered on, they don't match the return on investment that you would have in the private sector. And so I think that there is a lot more that Elon Musk can do. And I would hope that Democrats can work collaboratively with Republicans to try to streamline and make government more efficient. At the end of the day, I think that is a goal that hopefully most Americans can get behind.
Wouldn't that be something, Dan? I mean, why won't Democrats say, we saw what the voters said in November, and we agree there is waste that needs to be cut. Let us work with you to make that happen.
Yeah, I think this is where a little bit of kind of how Musk has gone about it. He didn't endear himself, very early on with some of his taunts and brash statements. Now, you can make the argument that's what was needed to get this done. But look, the rubber's going to meet the road here for both parties when Congress starts trying to pass this reconciliation bill, because the only way you'll ultimately get the type of deficit and debt reduction is to look at entitlements and defense. And that, even Republicans are saying, wait a second, we're a little nervous about Medicaid or Medicare. And I think Democrats will, sit there and say, is that the trade-off that you want to make? The country may say yes, but I think we're about to have that conversation.
We're having the conversation now. Robert Bluey, Dan Turrentine, thank you both for sharing your thoughts with us tonight. We do appreciate it. As Elon chips away at this excess spending, DOGE hasn't gotten it all right every step of the way, something Elon admits isn't realistic. Listen here.
Some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be correct.
Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Oprah, and all these celebrities said that if Trump came into office, that he was going to strip all of us women of all of our rights. And I haven't lost one of them. I still have to go to work. I have all of my rights still. And it sucks. And did you also know? No, this is serious. I'm being serious. That they have visited North Carolina, Tennessee, California, Ohio. Yeah, you remember the oil or the train thing in Ohio? They visited that. They forgot about Ukraine and they're focusing on us. They care about Americans. And it's just wild. It's wild. And then they're proposing that all of the money they find from corruption, that they're going to give it back to us. Can you imagine us getting a check because they were corrupt? It's none of their business. I mean, I'll take the what? He always bothers me. I hate this president.
Hey everyone! So I'm at Target doing some lingerie shopping. Well, I was trying to. And I'm thinking what everyone else is thinking. Where's all the tuck-friendly lingerie at? I feel like all women have a right to feel beautiful and seen when they're trying on clothes, and that just wasn't the case. And I feel like for those of us that were blessed in certain departments, it's especially important that we have clothes that fit our large appendages and that we just feel beautiful. So I hope one day we can have trans-friendly departments everywhere, including maternity and everywhere else, so that our shopping experience is a positive one and we don't have to struggle to fit in. No pun intended. So my 2 cents for today. Bye, everyone.
Dear Canadians, Donald Trump is not your enemy. Justin Trudeau is just using that as a brainwashing tool to push his own agenda for the Liberals winning. Do you understand why the tariffs were put in place? Because we actually have a criminal organization that has completely taken over our government and is making illicit substances that are coming into the United States. Donald Trump is telling you to secure those borders, otherwise you will get a 25% tariff. Like, how are Canadians not understanding this? Let me just show you literally the snippet from the White House page. Until the crisis is alleviated, President Donald J. Trump is implementing a 25% additional tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico and a 10% additional tariff on imports from China. Now, what is this crisis? Look down here. Literally, cartels and shut off money laundering by transnational criminal organizations. If you don't believe me, just wait. CBSA, which is our Homeland Security whistleblower, believes transnational gangs have compromised agency databases, helping terrorists, spies, and mafias enter Canada. Our BC government has vending machines, free vending machines for illicit you-know-what, so that anyone can go and get it. And like, this is what Donald Trump is trying to stop. That's literally going against the North American Union. Donald Trump is telling us to secure our borders because Justin Trudeau has let all of these criminals in order to make Canada seem like a threat to the United States, because they were all hoping that they would have a Democratic elected leader in the United States so that they can take Canada. Donald Trump was trolling, because this is what happened. Donald Trump and Sparkle Socks had a meeting, and literally Sparkle Socks said, but what if we can't fix the problem? We rely on the American economy too much. And then like Trump joked and said, why don't you become the 51st state and I'll make you governor? It's called trolling. Who on earth would want like 20 million DTS like liberals who are 10 times worse than the liberals down here roaming around freely, unmedicated and unattended? And those of you who don't believe me, do you know that almost 40% of Canadians are still getting the yearly flu, you know what? But that flu, you know what, contains the thing that they put in 2020. If you don't believe me, let me show you. This is 2023. If you don't believe me, boopity, boopity. So for the 3 Americans that I thought I don't want the United States to take Canada, I'm trying to protect the United States from these delusional Canadians and all of the issues that we have up north. So I hope Canadians understand Donald Trump is not your enemy. Justin Trudeau is. He's just using this little spiel, lying to you, not giving you the full information so that he can run his campaign based on fear, because Canadians are easily brainwashed.
She's right. This is going to be open night, clip night. I had something else planned, but the guests couldn't come at the last minute. So I have a lot of clips that I've been saving up to put in the shows and never got them in, or a few of them I have got in, but they're good ones. But I want to show them before I delete them.
All right, y'all, that fake pastor Jamal Bryant is at it
That's
again.
a good one.
He called
I'm going to be using
all of
this
us that
tomorrow.
were basically all of us that were at the White House runaway slaves. He was trying to respond to some of the members of the event there that held a picture up of him at the White House talking about holding him accountable. Listen to the foolishness this man just said. Listen to it.
For me all week, you've been nervous all week, but I ain't afraid of the spooks that sat at the door. These runaway slaves hiding in the White House gonna throw my picture up thinking that I'm gonna be afraid. If you got real courage, don't show my picture. Show the picture of the one that fired the black Joint Chief of Staffs from the military. If you gonna show a picture of the CEO of Target, Walmart, McDonald's, and Amazon that does not recognize black dollars or black business.
So first of all, that's a lie. That's a lie. Number one, you want to call us runaway slaves at the White House, but the better term for you would be man-go, because the thing about it is, instead of worrying about us holding up signs, you need to be more concerned about where you put your as a pastor of the gospel, a so-called pastor and a minister of the gospel. You admitted your last marriage ended because of your own infidelity. So cut that out. Secondly, the reason that people don't support Target, first of all, I hadn't been supporting Target in a long time. Once they started advocating more for the rainbow community, and that's against my religious beliefs, because y'all know I'm genuinely a Christian. So maybe Jamal Bryant, if you understood that the reason that Trump also fired the man, that the former general that was black, he fired him because he was part of the woke agenda. And I need you to understand that there are some of us here today that actually appreciate and love real Christianity, not this salad bar nonsense you trying to shove down the throats of your misled sheep. Because the Lord that I worship said the blind leading the blind is not good. Well, the Lord didn't say that, but he said that there will be deceivers going about in the last day, deceiving others and they themselves being deceived. And you are a deceiver, and you yourself are deceived. We have got to stop and cancel this woke pastor culture, because a lot of these pastors are misleading the congregation, and they're going to lead them straight down the broad gate and the wide way, and that only leads one way, and it ain't the right way. It ain't the way, okay? Jesus said he is the way, the truth, the life. Jamal Bryant, you are the exact kind of pastor that the Democratic Party leans on and relies upon, because they look to you to mislead people and feed them the false BS gospel that they can then use to manipulate the masses. You are what is wrong with the black church. And I'm going to say that, I'm going to stand on it. People like you are used by these leftist politicians to control people that are too unintelligent to do their own research. Period. Point blank. End of story. You dig, Church?
Yeah, I thought he said that pretty well about that. So anyways, all on an uproar on the left, I tell you. Tomorrow I should have on, but I'm going to record it because it's going to overlap the other shows. Because they're Texas, I couldn't set up a different time. Choo Choo and Zaza, they're walkaways from Chicago that have moved to Texas. They're a very good couple. I've had them on about 3 times now in the past. Now this is self-assembling the graphite stuff, oxy graphite. This is what it does inside you. It assembles itself. That's the crap they're putting in us. I'm wondering with the radio signal if they can program to do certain things and stuff. Look how fast it forms too. You put it in the Petri dish. That can't be good. That's got to hurt your immune system. It's got to. I don't know. I don't want it in me. Seems like they would clog up your veins. You wouldn't let blood through a lot. It wouldn't flow through your veins, it seems like. And one looks like it's moving. I don't know.
I just got an email from Elon Musk.
Some of these are funny.
Questionnaire.
Well, what does it say?
Okay. First question. How long have you been employed by the Department of Health? 4 years. Okay. This isn't that bad.
Okay. What's the next question?
Okay. All right. Next question. What is your job title?
Well, what is your job title?
I don't know.
Well, what do you do?
Nothing.
No, like really, when you go in, what do you do?
Like nothing.
Okay, just skip that one for now.
Okay. moving along. What is your main job responsibility?
Are you serious?
I can figure this out. All right. I briefed the assistant health secretary on matters of health when she was in town. Wait. When he was in town. Wait. When she was in town. I don't know what to say.
I think it might be better if you say he. I don't know. Just go to the next one.
Okay. All right. I can do this. All right. Last question. All right. Name 5 things you did last week. I'm fucked.
Just replying to someone there. Okay, we're going to the next one. Let's play this one next.
So Donald Trump is the first president in over 100 years not to own a dog. And with any other person, that would be a red flag for me. But instead, he decided to make the Democratic Party his bitch.
I thought that was funny. Okay. I'm gonna go to my friend Karen Kennedy. It's a pretty good one here.
It's Sunday morning. I've had it. Not even 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I've had it. Okay. Apple News sends you these stupid notifications. And the one I got this morning was from the Daily Mail trying to stir up trouble once again, talking about, headline, Kash Patel overrules Musk's orders, blah, blah, blah. I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, dude, shut the hell up. You know, these crank far leftist media whores, the ones that just, oh my God, they cannot leave anything alone. They failed. They lost. They circled the wagons. They protected Joe Biden and his shitty family straight out of an episode of Shameless. Protected those like bums for 4 years. And now they want to try to come scurrying over, nosying around the Trump administration to see what's going on. Let me tell you what happened so you can go on and just go back to what you were doing, helping to keep this country great. Because guess what? All gas, no brakes. You can't sit down. Don't go sit on the couch and put your feet up because President Trump is in there and because Elon is there working 18 hours a freaking day for free. Get up off your ass. Get up. It's time for all of us to get up. It's Sunday morning. I haven't had my coffee, but I'm going to do it right now. Anyway, so what happened is, because I need to clarify so that y'all can just go back. Now, Kash Patel was just confirmed the other day, as we know, as FBI director. He is also now, President Trump has assigned him the duty of ATF director. So he's got a bunch of jobs. Anyway, Kash Patel is starting to get his hands dirty, go through stuff. And he saw that Elon Musk had been get tasked with the federal employees. The FBI falls under federal employee. Okay. And Elon Musk issued an order saying, I need your performance report of what you did last week. I need y'all to start proving your worth. I need you to tell me what you did. Okay? Get it to me. And if you don't send me an email by Friday, close of business, I consider that your resignation. You get it so far? Good. I'm glad you're tracking. Those in the back, you hear me? Come on now. Get with it. Get with it. Now, Elon wants these performance reports from these people. Excuse you, but there is extreme abuse and there is extreme theft within the federal government. We want to now know what's been going on. It is not unreasonable to ask this. I was a federal employee until this time last year. I know how this goes. Do you understand? You can't gaslight me on federal employment. Please spare me. Okay. Anyway, so Kash comes in and says, you know what, bro? Pump the brakes a little bit. You know, man, let me just get my hands around this and get my head around this, and let me see what's going on. And you know what? If I need you, I'll get back with you. But you know what? I'm in here now, and I'm gonna handle business. And I thank you for, you know, handling this, but I need to get the FBI under control. That's what's happening. There ain't no beef. So Democrats, go somewhere, because y'all got enough problems of your own. You've got enough problems of your own. You need to find your leadership. You don't have it. So currently, there's no beef. There's nothing going on. Go somewhere else. Everything's fine. We got it. Thanks. So there's just a little bit of a miscommunication. It happens. It happens. Anyway, that's what's going on. Kash Patel is in there now. He's taking the reins. You know, he's gone through weeks of confirmation, Senate confirmation hearings. He got confirmed, and now he's taking control of the FBI and the ATF. Elon is going to move on to other things. Good, because he's got like 47 jobs right now. Elon, we love you, brother. We can use you somewhere else, my darling. Just, you know, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Anyway, that's what's going on. So don't panic. Nothing's going on. We good over here, baby. Democrats, you need to worry about your own shit. We good. Peace.
I gotta love that girl. I gotta love her. I'm hoping to get her on. We'll see. Next one's educate. Oh, the reason why they dragged on Kash Patel is because they were trying to hide a lot of stuff and get rid of it, keep him out of there as long as possible, cover up. The next one's going to be education just got busted running rogue sanctuary program for illegal immigrants while hiding the secrets from Doge, whatever you say it, and Congress, encrypted messages.
Secret Department of Education operation exposed in undercover video. They're hiding this from Doge and Congress. Project Veritas released an undercover video of Travis Combs, branch chief for Applied Innovation and Improvement at the U.S. Department of Education, describing how the agency is hiding secrets from Congress and Doge by communicating on an encrypted app, Signal. Now, this video is 7 minutes long, but we're going to play you some of it. We encourage everyone to watch it in full. Take a listen.
If they actually knew, Congress actually knew that we don't have that, there would be a lot of probably a lot of why? Because we would be like positioned as like being a sanctuary. They have like sanctuary cities. We would be like a sanctuary program where we're spending federal dollars on illegal immigrants. Like they shut off everyone's access to everything. They're like in the building looking through everything. I'm telling you, it is insanity. It sounds like a bad movie. Yeah. It's like Democracy Falling should be like the title of the movie. I mean, if you want to have a conversation with somebody, you do have to take it offline, but you're not supposed to. So, I mean, you have to now. Yeah. So everybody uses it's an app called Signal now. So, and you're all on like video chat, like yeah. So it's just like a text messaging app, basically like a WhatsApp, but it's encrypted end to end. Nice. So you can do business stuff on there. You're not supposed to, but yeah.
So essentially what he's admitting is that the Department of Education is operating as a rogue sanctuary program for illegal immigrants, misusing federal tax dollars in a way that would enrage Congress if the truth came out, and that employees are also evading oversight and hiding secrets on encrypted messaging apps. We encourage you to watch the full video. It's really fascinating to see this uproar of the establishment over digging into their departments. Essentially, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to be concerned about. And this is different from private citizens who are afforded, or at least should be afforded, complete privacy because we're the ones paying them to utilize our tax dollars appropriately. How is misuse of federal funds and operating in secret despite the administration's orders anything but a crime? Whether you ideologically agree with the administration or not, you, as an employee of the taxpayer, are expected to comply with the administration. If not, you resign and go get a job in the private sector where you'll be accountable based on your merits. And for most of you, it won't be much at all because you're career politicians and unelected bureaucrats who've never had a real job or worked a day in the private sector in the real world where you're actually required to perform. At the end of the day, like it or not, this is what the people voted for. This is what they will get. Did you know that over 85% of the grass-fed beef in stores is imported? That's because the country of origin labeling law was repealed in 2015. So now meat can be packaged here in the US and earn a product of USA label, even if it was born, raised, and harvested overseas. And the truth is, much of the meat on the grocery store shelves is filled with things you don't want, from antibiotics, hormones, questionable origins, and even harmful seed oils. But at Good Ranchers, transparency isn't just a buzzword, it is a promise. All products at Good Ranchers have trustworthy ingredients. Their meat is born, raised, and harvested right here in the USA, so you know exactly where it comes from. It's free from hidden additives. There are no antibiotics ever, no added hormones, and no seed oils. Just one simple ingredient that you can read, and that's meat.
They used to say that
Jermaine
seed
Gill,
oil
the
was
Chief
good
Growth
for you, but
Officer
now
of
they're
Good
saying it's
Ranchers,
bad.
explains what you need to
kinda
know
tend to
about the
think it's
current
bad.
state of the meat
It's not
market.
natural for
He
you to
joins
eat
us now.
seed oil.
Jermaine, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you, Maria. Anytime we get a chance to, talk about Good Ranchers and talk about agriculture here at Good Ranchers, we always want to take that opportunity. So thank you. And thank you for being an advocate for the local farms and ranches here in the U.S. I know it's important to you. It's an important subject to us. So thank you.
It's absolutely important to me. This is preserving our food supply, and the integrity of our food supply is paramount. And I don't think people really realize that until the food supply actually is at risk. And it is at risk all over the world. There is an attack specifically on farmers. There's an attack on meat, on protein. And so we want to talk about the integrity as well of the meat that people are getting when they go to Good Ranchers. This is so important. So talk to us about the fact that when people go to the supermarket, they don't actually know for sure that their meat is coming from America.
Yeah, in 2015, the U.S. government passed a country of origin labeling law that says that it's called the Cole Law. So it says that beef and pork in the U.S. doesn't have to actually be born and raised, harvested here to be called a product of the USA. So you can see that a stamp on some ground beef and it'll have the American flag and it says product USA. All it has to do is be further processed here in the country. So that means that it can be born, raised, harvested in another country, Mexico, Uruguay, Latin America, South America. Those are the big places that we see a lot. Canada too. We see a lot of beef imported in from those other countries. And then it's either, processed, meaning like cut into steaks, or ground up here in the US. And it now becomes called the product of the USA. So I mean, it's very misleading, right? Because honestly, the US is the best grower of beef, chicken, pork in the world, right? We do the best job. We set all of the standards for animal husbandry, animal rights, how we treat the animal, all of these things. The U.S. agriculture is when it sets the standard for those things, and so we pride ourselves on being the best growers. And it's kind of sad to see that because of this law, there's almost 3 billion pounds of beef have been imported into the U.S. over last 2024. And so the regular American consumer doesn't even know, right? They trust that little American flag, that product USA labeling, and then they end up buying it. They don't realize, that they can't tell where the meat has come from. That's why at Good Ranch. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say this is so important. People need to realize how vital this is, because we recently have an example out of the UK, Jermaine, where there was a huge backlash over Bovea 10. Now, for people that aren't aware of that, this can be a very, very dangerous additive. And the initial studies show that it can cause things like infertility and maybe even cancer. And so there was a backlash in the UK over this being inside dairy products. And so what they started to do was hide the manufacturer from other products so that people wouldn't be aware that they were purchasing something that had Bovea in it. And you guarantee there's no Bovea in the meat, right?
Yeah, no Bovea. Yeah, we've worked really hard. And so our founder has been in Corley Spell. when they started the company, they started out of the need and desire to know where their meat was coming from, right? They had started a family, and they started to do some more research and digging into like what the meat industry looked like in the US. And so out of the desire for a clean product, vaccine-free products that they know that they could trust and that they could feed their family, that's where Good Ranchers came from. And so the heart and soul of who we are is, it's two parts, right? It's one, we always want to support the American farm and rancher. I mean, I know, I don't know if you know this, but you know, ranches and farms, the small local, are closing left and right because of imported beef and this, you know, big farm, big beef industry, big meat industry. So when we want to support those guys, that's part of our mission, it's part of our heart. We want to, you know, bring advocacy to them. We want to tell their stories. We want to be able to support them, right? And so we've done that over the last 7 years of being in business. We've really done that. The other piece to the heart and soul of who we are is the idea of a clean product that you can trust. And, you know, 100 years ago, it's funny, I was just telling this story to somebody earlier today. About 100 years ago, if you were, you know, here in the US, you wanted to get, you know, chicken or beef, you would just, you know, go down the street to your local ranch and farm. You would meet the rancher and farm, right? You would set up you'd buy directly from them or from like a small butcher shop that had that connection. Well, as cities have grown, we've lost that connection, right? We're no longer connected to our food supply, right? We don't know where it's coming from. We don't know what it is. And a lot of us don't have time to really go and do the research. That's why, you know, trusting a company like Good Ranchers, we go out there, we do the research for you. We make sure it's a clean product. We make sure it's a product that we would feed ourselves. Been in correlating myself, we do the same thing. We would never sell anything that we wouldn't feed to our own family. And so, you know, you don't have the time to go find those ranchers and those farmers, and let us go do the sourcing for you. That is who we are, right? So let us do the sourcing. Let's make sure the product's clean, the cleanest it can be, so that you can know and have trust that what you're feeding your family it's supporting local farms and ranchers in the US, and it's a clean product.
Well, this is what you do at Good Ranchers is so important, Jermaine, because we have to keep those local farmers and those local ranchers alive. Like I said, there is a sort of coordinated global attack on them. And whilst that may be different under the new administration, we have to keep their business going. We have to, you know, we hope to see changes and we hope to see farmers supported, but we have to keep that momentum going, because you just look at how over the years not supporting local farms and, you know, just buying from supermarkets where you can't be certain of where your meat is from, and it's all sort of, you know, big business, big ag, rather than the grassroots people that actually care about the quality of the meat. Over the years, that's allowed many of them to be attacked, to be overregulated, you know, with, you know, if you don't upgrade to this smart ag, which costs millions of dollars, you're going to be shut down. We really have to put in effort to advocate for these businesses, because this is our food. This is our strength. This is what keeps our families healthy. And let me just say, Jermaine, I'm going to tell you, you know, I'm from Australia originally. I'm in America now, but when I was there, we have incredible meat in Australia, and I partnered as well with a company that does similar things to what Good Ranchers does in Australia, and their meat was fantastic. And I came to the US and I just couldn't find tasty meat anywhere. And then I tried Good Ranchers, and it is good. It is very, very delicious. I will tell you that openly. And so I think it's a fantastic option for people. What are some other really important points for you?
Yeah, I mean, for us, you know, tariffs is a big thing that everybody are talking about right now, right? And so, you know, one of the things that we drew a line in the sand very early on in the company was that not only was our meat going to be born, raised, and harvested in the US, but our whole supply chain was going to be 100% US based. So that's why when you're going to see rising cost of meat products in the grocery store, the butcher shop, other online meat companies that are importing products in from overseas, you're not going to see that same rise in cost with us, because we've already
I don't know how much it's going to
secured our whole supply chain to be 100%.
It's already high.
So, you know, as you start to get that like pricing sensitivity, right? People are going to start, and we see it now, right? We talk about it. It's all over the news, right? Price of eggs are increasing. Price of ground beef is increasing everything. You're going to see it. We see it all over the place now.
It's the farmers
when you
that
buy
trying
from
to
Good
drive out.
Ranchers, you
Really
can
bad.
be
And
secure that your
chickens.
price is going to be,
I just had a
it's going to stay
friend,
the same
Donnie,
for
that
while
was
you're with
up
us,
in
as well as,
Washington
we're always,
fighting
we always
where
want to
they
give back.
took
We always want to give value
the
back to our
farmers,
customers.
all
So
of
like
his-
one of the things that we're running right now is like
all his chickens and
free
cattle
meat
and
for a
everything,
year,
'cause
right?
they
So, free,
suspected
you
one
get to choose
chicken
ground
might
beef,
be
chicken,
sick.
salmon, whatever, whatever
They
product
took
you
them
want.
all.
And we're going to give you
They stole
a portion of that
$2,000
for
from
free for a year. So, not like I said, we're trying to give back to not just local farms and ranches, but to the American family, right? Part of our goal is to bring people to the table. And so we know that, there is some fear or, hesitancy there with pricing and concern that the price of beef and price
Some
of
of
meat is
it's
going to continue to
artificial
rise.
meat now that they're
Good
using
Ranchers, we're here to help,
somehow
right? And so we've kind of
computerized, printed
got ahead of the whole tariff thing,
meat.
right? And there's this, movement to bring back American meat, right? To buy American. And so that's
They
what
are
we've been
trying
doing
to
since
drive
we
the
started,
farmers
right?
out,
And so we're happy
that
to be
is.
a part of the solution, right? And a part of the answer.
Well, I'm really grateful for that. I applaud your mission. I really do. We have to support local farms, local ranchers. This is one of the most important things that we have to do because our food supply is at the core of our health. Like it's that simple.
Yeah.
Do you think
and so
by the
and
time
I really
I will
love
say-
it.
4 years, JFK will be able to
Go
turn
on.
around?
I'll say one
within
thing,
the 4 years, even if after
you
that,
don't have to
someone else takes over?
sacrifice quality
Yes.
and taste for clean and shopping your values, right? Like our product, like you said it earlier. We've had beef from all over now.
The other
We've had-
issue is the Panama Canal.
and I will
shipping
hands down
stuff
put
for
Good
USA.
Ranchers product up against any other thing.
Well,
We
stuff
not
that-
only are we
that's an
like
issue with
trying to source the
getting
cleanest
stuff
thing, but we
here
age all of our
out,
beef,
but
minimum of 28
makes
days.
it cost a lot
Our
more.
chicken is all small bread. We have an internal saying, it's kind of funny. People come for the steak, but they stay for the chicken because our chicken is just so phenomenal.
Chicken
And
is good.
you think like all chicken is
This is kind of
right,
like a
it's all made the
sales thing,
same, but
it
our
is
chicken
better to
just
eat,
you can taste the
American.
difference. It's more tender. It's got a little bit of a different flavor profile to it. It's a smaller. It's not
So
those.
I'm going to move on and play some other ones. A couple of these I might have played before, especially I'm going to play the Act Blue one, the cheating there, but it's an important one. So I'm going to play that in a little bit. Here we go.
Nancy, for the last time, all right, I don't have the key to your liquor cabinet. Wait, hold on, slow down. Yeah, maybe have a drink. That slows you down well. I'm turning it on right now. What are we looking at?
Wait, what do you do?
I imagine it must have been really tough for you to work in the intel community under a Trump administration. And that's when the floodgate opened.
Information
From Trump?
This guy was actually talking about how they withheld important intelligence from the president.
Has the journalist been unburdened by what has been? Who's we? I'm not in office anymore. Don't panic yet, Nancy. Hang on. We have to see the rest of this. Don't panic yet. And, look on the bright side. Maybe they're going to be able to let you trade in prison.
Are you recording? What's this? Don't touch it. It's part of the bag.
Busted.
I wonder if they can find out who took my $20 million. Dougie, get the popcorn. We got to watch this film.
Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Here's some more humor. Before I get to the 40-year-olds.
Elon, you have no right to take away Social Security benefits from millions of Americans over 120 years old. That's right. It's a constitutional crisis. That's right, Maxine. It's a threat to our democracy.
Chuck, there's clearly evidence of fraud happening in Social Security. How else do you explain the checks going to people 140 years old? Who are these people supposed to be, vampires?
Not exactly. But the answer is actually much simpler than fraud. You see, there are things in this world, dead things, many of them relying heavily on disability checks.
Chuck, if dead people are receiving disability checks, that's fraud.
Let's just say because someone is dead, that doesn't mean they're no longer eligible for Social Security.
Are you guys trying to say there are
Makes you
ghosts
wonder how many
receiving
years they've been
benefits?
stealing.
It's the only logical explanation besides fraud, which is clearly unlikely. Can you prove it to me? Yes, we can. Meet us at the Congressional Cemetery tonight at midnight.
Maybe once you meet someone who depends on Social Security checks, you'll change your mind about cutting them off. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Right. Stopping fraud in Social Security is somehow anti-democracy. Who dares disturb my gay kissing? Oh, it's you. Where the hell is my social security check? I have bills to pay, you know. I'm working on it, Benjamin. You see, Elon, without social security payments, homosexual ghosts like Benjamin Martin can't afford to eat. Wait a minute. You're stopping my benefits because you think it's impossible to be 130? I'm 287 years old. You must be an idiot. Thank God I have highly ethical geniuses like Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer to watch my back, or who knows what else you do.
Yeah, Dennis, they killed over $1 million worth of food or cattle and chickens and stuff like that in one farm up in Washington. So I don't know. Here's about being over 40. This is kind of a funny one.
I wake up in the morning and my body is tight, cause once you're over 40, you have to stretch when you rise. You can't even twist your legs to stand up, cause you might dislocate your knee before you even get up. You sound like Rice Krispie cereal as you start to rise. Snap, crackle, pop sound coming from beat all the way to your eyes full. The smell of Bengay lingering in your room. Body consumes every night just so joints that they can move. I guess once you hit 40, body breaking down. Can't even have a cheat day cause you begin packing on pounds. Can never sleep a full 8 hours at night, cause I always pee 2-3 times before the morning light. Ooh, it's hard and rough sometimes when you live in over 40 life.
Elon Musk in the building behind me. Elon Musk is trying to take over the government.
Dennis has won over 300.
We can't let
they also
that
have been
happen.
voting too.
Talk to them, Elizabeth, because we not finna to go back. We not finna to go back. Child, don't get me started. He's trying to take Finland. Elon Musk. No, I'll fight Elon Musk right now.
Anyways, but.
You know what? I'm gonna fight him right now. He's trying. Ask them questions. We gotta ask them some questions.
That's what they want, Dennis. Higher prices.
What?
And this to run out.
Axes. Oh my God, he's using axes. Trying to say I took money. It was only Pfizer. Never Moderna. We need to concentrate on Finland. I didn't even know about that. We not finna to go back, you heard? We not doing all that. We not doing all that.
We're running out of money. The protests are getting smaller. Boy, it's amazing how quick when they hit billions of dollars. But they're still getting money in. I should do the Act Blue one next, and then we'll do the.
Well, they're really unburdened by what has been.
She does play Kamala Harris pretty good, I tell you that.
What's up, America? Doge credit card fraud. So apparently the Department of Government Efficiency has found around $40 billion that were spent on government credit cards. Now, the fact that the government uses credit cards is not the problem. The problem is that there's around 3 million government employees, yet 4.6 million active credit card accounts, processing 90 million unique transactions for a spending total of $40 billion in the year 2024 alone. So that means there's 1.6 million more credit accounts than people that work for the government, meaning that probably 1.6 million credit accounts are just fraud. So apparently our government had a system called Smart Pay, and that was a streamlining spending service to make purchases on behalf of the federal government in support of your agency's mission. And it came with a streamlined transaction process. So there was basically no oversight, which led to 1.6 million fake credit accounts. So more than likely about a third of that $40 billion was either just waste or fraud. And Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency says they'll report back in about a week to iron out all this fraud. So every single day since Donald Trump has been president, we have found fraud or misappropriation by the government of your taxpayer dollars. So government employees and our government in general were just spending your money for the fuck of it because they wanted to get wealthy on your back. So how does that feel that you were working 60 or 70 hours a week for them to go play around and have nice vacations? Because that's what your tax dollars were used for, right? Not supposed to be fixing the potholes or fixing the water systems or electric systems. No, government vacations and spending on luxury items. Yeah, talk about a third world shithole we've become.
As long as they keep dipping in the thing. All right, here's a control plan for the carbon scam. It's just a scam.
Control structure for taking over the United States and the rest of the world has been revealed. Please check this out.
The biggest part of the Great Reset that you're all missing is the carbon credit scam. And what is the carbon credit scam? This is where they're telling you where they want to monitor, track, and trace every so-called kilogram of CO2 that you emit. And they say the global average needs to be 2 tons per person per year. And you're using 16 tons per person per year, which means your activity has to go down by 800%. So how do they plan to do that? Well, first of all, they got the new first MasterCard in the world that is going to show a carbon allowance for every single purchase you buy. And to make sure that everything has a so-called carbon credit, food, when you buy food now, if it's vegan, it's going to show you this nice low score of only 1 kilogram, 1.3 kilograms of CO2 per serving. Now, meat will be off the chart, so that's going to be a no-no. Check this out. If you go to a restaurant, even an Italian pizza place, they're going to show you the amount of CO2 for your dish. So literally everything you eat, everything you buy, is your clothes made of leather? That's going to cost more CO2 because it came from a cow. So every single thing you do is going to be tracked. Why? Because they want to put limits on how much you can spend monthly. They're telling you you're using 16 tons a year, and they want you to use 2 tons a year. What does 2 tons look like? Well, check this out. Say you wanted to fly from Toronto to Amsterdam, and now Google, by the way, Google Flights shows the carbon emissions on that flight. That flight from Toronto to Amsterdam is 478 kilograms of CO2. That's almost 25% of your yearly allowance. But don't worry, if you go over your limit, they're going to charge you $170 for every kilogram. For every kilogram of carbon credits you need. This is how they're going to control where you go, how you're going to get there, what you can buy, what you can eat, who you can see. And now imagine that in a world without cash. And imagine that in a world where the government gets to control every single transaction. And this is why they're constructing 15-minute cities, aka prison camps, because when they put these carbon credit allowances into these cities, they're going to have you on perpetual lockdown like they did with COVID without having a virus. Thank you, everybody.
I'm sure this one's been played, but I thought I'd put it back up there before I delete it.
So just kidding. It wasn't $2.7 trillion that was mismanaged in the U.S. Treasury and Social Security. No, it was $4.7 trillion they've just uncovered. Double that. That is a staggering amount of money. That is literally such a huge part of our national debt. And our hard-earned tax dollars was being funneled right out of our pockets. I mean, Social Security benefits are not an entitlement. That's like a built-in retirement fund that we pay into. And these corrupt politicians were using it as a slush fund. $4.7 trillion was going towards these rogue programs to pay for our politicians' lobbyists and donors and being just sifted right out of there. I mean, this is outrageous. I want my money back. I want my goddamn money back. How about you? You want your money back? This is crazy. And I can't wait to see what happens in Fort Knox. I mean, is there anything there? Is there anything left anymore? I mean, it hasn't been audited since 1974. Can you imagine? Our money is supposed to be backed by gold, and no one has even put eyes on it since 1974. This should be interesting.
They're probably rushing to get it all back in there. I'm going to end with this Act Blue one, and then I'll talk about the schedule.
As I said in my last video, I was going to start pointing out some troubling aspects that unfolded in my election. Well, one of those is what has been breaking all over the news, and that is as it relates to Act Blue and small dollar high frequency donors. What is Act Blue? Act Blue is a contribution portal for Democratic candidates. Senator Baldwin received an enormous amount of money through that Act Blue portal. Pointing out what is a high frequency small dollar donor. This is somebody that donates 8, 10, 12 times a day in $5, $10, $20 increments, but over a given year, they'll donate $80, $100, $120,000. Now, it makes no sense for somebody to give that much. But what's more troubling, most of those people that are giving at these rates have nowhere near the financial means to give the amount that they're giving over a given year. Many of them are retired, are former government employees, and live on modest means. So this has been breaking because 20 state AGs around the country are looking into this. Look, I knew this was unfolding during my campaign, but I didn't have time to refocus and talk too much about it. And if I did, the press would just attack me of saying I'm pointing out something without having the facts. But the simple fact is Senator Baldwin's campaign took millions of dollars from this. Well, some other things have broken out since. Brian Stile, who's a congressman from here in Wisconsin, who's on the House Banking Committee, they have subpoenaed Act Blue and have been digging in. Act Blue admitted that they were not requiring CVV numbers. That's the security number, the 3 or 4 digit security number on your credit card that anytime you make a purchase, you have to provide your security number. But we're also learning more about all these high frequency donors. As an example, there are 12 people with the first name Robert that contributed exactly the same amount of times, 1,787 times. And they also contributed the exact same amount, $201,000 or $201,963.87. Now, what is the probability of that? The statistical probability is almost non-existent to have that occur. There's also a woman living in a nursing home that gave over 7 times a day, every day for 7 years. That's pretty improbable. Well, there's also a lawsuit that broke here. It's over in Waukesha, a man that had an Act Blue account and showed all these contributions going through his account, and he never made any of those contributions. So a lawsuit's working its way through the system and just got ruled on in Milwaukee to let it advance. So why is this concerning? Because who's giving this money? Well, it could be large donors to the Democrats that want to shift soft dollars to hard dollars because when you have hard dollars in your campaign, you can buy media at much cheaper rates. But the bigger and much more troubling concern is that there are foreign governments that are funneling money through Act Blue to Democratic candidates and trying to influence our elections.
Also our tax dollars.
And foreign governments are not lawful.
Putting out their money laundering and paying for their own campaigns that way.
They never should be. And it could be China, it could be Iran, it could be Venezuela, it could be any country. Well, let me tell you a little story, because I've had experience with this. Back in the 90s, in the late 90s, I would turn around community banks. A troubled community bank by the name of American International Bank ran into trouble. It was 30% controlled by a Chinese national. Once the bank got in trouble, the Chinese national went back to China. So the federal regulators reached out to us after doing due diligence. I put money in to stabilize the bank, and I put somebody on the board of directors and as interim CEO. One of the very first things we discovered, there were 24 different accounts. Each one of these accounts had a different name. And yet every one of these accounts was under the signatory power controlled by that Chinese national. And what we saw is money would come out of the Central Bank of China into these 24 different accounts and then max out to the Clinton-Gore campaign of 1996. Now, we brought this information to the FEC and to Capitol Hill back then, and we never knew what unfolded with it. Obviously, not much. But we saw how China was trying to play in our elections back then. And clearly, some parties are playing in these elections. So Senator Baldwin received millions of dollars through these high-frequency, small-dollar donations, and many of them are probably unlawful. Now, we don't know fully today, but more and more is breaking about it. But soon, my guess is the FBI and the new Trump Justice Department is going to dig into it. So follow the news, because I think we're going to learn a lot over the next 6 to 12 months how many Democratic candidates like Kamala Harris and Senator Baldwin raised all this money from small dollar donations. Thank you for your time.
I want to see arrest. Programming scheduling note. Tomorrow night, I'm going to record a live because they want to come on the same time everyone else is on at like 7 p.m. So I'm going to record it and then play it on Thursday with Zarza and Choo Choo. They're two walkaways I'm friends with. I've had them on three times before. A while back. It's been a while since I've been on though. You'll definitely like them. I'll be playing that on Thursday. I'll be recording it tomorrow. So I probably won't be watching everyone else's shows tomorrow because I'll be busy. But we'll see you on Thursday. Take care. God bless. I'll probably play it at 5 o'clock on Thursday. Bye-bye.